Today we are going to be walking through Stanley Ranch, which is a luxury resort located in the beautiful Napa Valley. And this 700-acre property is a gateway into living agricultural landscape where vineyards, gardens, orchards, and open fields shape every guest experience, whether you are just going for the day or as a local or just going to enjoy it as a tourist and you'd like to stay at the resort. I think everyone has something to gain from being in this beautiful space. Our journey begins in the property's flourishing kitchen gardens. They have raised beds that overflow with seasonal vegetables, fragrant herbs, edible flowers, and heirloom varieties selected specifically for the resort's culinary purposes. Throughout the year, both the chefs and gardeners work side by side, harvesting ingredients just hours before they appear on guest plates. Every season brings new flavors reflecting Napa Valley's ever-changing landscape. Just beyond the gardens, another beloved part of the ranch is the chicken coop. The hens provide farm-fresh eggs that make their way into breakfast dishes and seasonal recipes, while also reminding visitors that sustainable agriculture begins with caring for every part of the ecosystem. For families and curious travelers alike, the coop offers a chance to slow down, connect with animals, and experience the rhythms of the ranch firsthand. Now, this is not like any old ranch. This is definitely, again, a luxurious ranch. Everything surrounded around me and within the property was beautiful, very aesthetic, very welcoming. There is a charm to it, but it is more of an elevated experience. Whoever the head gardener is has definitely done an amazing job in laying out the kitchen gardens. All of these pillars were lined with passion fruit and they were so abundant with fruit. Like, I should have gotten a close-up of how many passion fruits were on each vine. It was amazing. They also plant everything very meticulously. So you can tell everything is very much in order. Everything is in rows. They use drip tape to irrigate the plants. And so that was really interesting looking at that, seeing how, they lay out not just like a commercial garden for production and to be able to use within the kitchens at the resort, but also to make it aesthetically pleasing, because obviously this needs to look good year round. And luckily we have the climate to be able to plant year round. I went ahead and tried a radish. Don't tell anyone. They also had a really yummy looking fig. It actually wasn't ready, but it looked ready. They had dill, basil, those peas that we passed by, and they had it growing over a beautiful arch that was actually just looked like cattle panel. So again, that's something you can definitely DIY. These are not fancy tomato cages. These are regular tomato cages, and they still look really beautiful in the garden. One thing that I noticed is that that tomato variety looked to be very unique. I did some research afterwards because I had never seen tomatoes that tiny, and they looked to be a heirloom tomato variety called spoon tomato. And I saw that Baker Creek actually sells that seed variety, which is also a seed company that is local to Petaluma, California. That is not too far from here. So it may be that those were planted from seed, or they just planted like actual plants that they got from a nearby nursery. Either way, they were delicious, extremely sweet, not too sweet, but very fun. I think like they would add a pop of color to any dish that they would be preparing, and offer something unique that you don't see every day, and elevate the guest experience. When walking to the rest of the property, you could see beautiful gardens. Now, we couldn't walk in there. It was closed off. It looked to be like they were setting up for a wedding or some sort of ceremony. And so here's a little glimpse of what that looked like. And to be honest, it doesn't look like they have to put up even much decoration. I don't think it was completely finished yet, but the landscape, you can tell, is so incredibly beautiful. The tree selection, the grass selection, there was a lot of lavender, a lot of shrubs to provide that structure and base. I'm sure it's still pretty in the wintertime because of how much evergreen structure they have incorporated into this landscape. But the grasses during the summer really just make it a magical experience. Like the pollinators were flowing, the crepe myrtles were in bloom. It was so beautiful. So the pathway from the gardens will connect you then to the pool, and from the pool it'll connect you to like where it looks like they conduct events, and the restaurant is located there as well as the small cafe. But I wanted to show you this beautiful lavender field. I cannot imagine how beautiful it is during the like early parts of summer. Or late spring. It must be incredibly gorgeous when that hillside is covered in purple. It almost felt like they had their own little meadow with how the grasses were laid out. There was dragonflies, butterflies, bees, and just an enormous amount of pollinators enjoying themselves on this property. And from here, we made our way over to the cafe. And I have to say, if you're a local, I highly recommend. It honestly was a great spot just to grab a cup of coffee. The coffee was delicious. I got myself a iced caramel latte, and they were incredibly nice. They had lovely pastries available. We happened to get a breakfast burrito, and it had egg, chorizo, and potato. It was delicious. I only have one complaint, that the salsa was not spicy at all. So if they could work on that, but I think that's a personal problem. But it was really yummy and very hearty. You can tell everything tasted extremely fresh. From our breakfast spot, we could notice the owls and hawks that were there. They had a line of little kids there here at Stanley Ranch every single Saturday. And I think there is a fee attached, but you're able to hold essentially these large birds. And they were so majestic seeing them in person. They were incredibly beautiful and a lovely surprise to the end of our day trip here. And here's just a quick little view of what it's like when you enter the Napa Valley. I hope you check it out yourself and you have a lovely rest of your day.